Good day, everybody. This is Dimitri Lascaris coming to you from Montreal, Canada for Reason to Resist on July 15th, 2026. We have joining us again today our good friend, John Helmer, Russian expert analyst extraordinaire. He's well known to our audience, so I'm not going to tell you about his impressive body of work. You can find that on the Dances with Bears website. John, I'm very happy to be able to speak to you again after my return to Iran. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me, Dimitri.
So, John, we have a lot of ground to cover today. I figure we should do this in two parts. The first part I want to talk to you about is some very embarrassing news coming out of Greece related to the National Security Advisor, Thanos Dokos. And the second part, I'd like to talk to you about the ever-escalating attacks on Russian territory by the Ukrainian military, and how that is affecting the thinking of the Russian government and internal politics in Russia. So let's turn then to this rather embarrassing episode for the Greek government. And I'm going to start by showing our audience and you, John, an excerpt from Greece's paper of record. This is a conservative, pro-NATO, Zionist newspaper known as Kathimerini. And they reported on the 3rd of this month that the Greek National Security Advisor was targeted by Russian pranksters, and officials, they say, insist that no secrets were leaked. And interestingly, they don't actually name the Russian pranksters in this article. We will. But they start by saying that the pranksters known for targeting prominent political figures have released footage of a video call with Greece's National Security Advisor, Thanos Dokos, after deceiving him into believing he was speaking with Ukrainian officials. So now I'm going to show our audience, John, an excerpt from this prank call. And I want people just to know I'm going to speed it up because it is a significant excerpt. But I'm not going to speed it up so much that it's difficult to understand. It is in the English language. So if you just bear with me here, I'll get it up on the screen. And here we go.
And this is why I would like to let you know that this accident could again happen in near one of your islands. And this is important and crucial to understand that our officers should be in touch.
No, that's a bit scary, to be honest. It's tourist period. There is increased shipping traffic. So it's important we understand the needs of war on your side. Let's try hard to prevent such an incident happening again. Let's do our best.
Yes, I agree totally. Because I heard recently they would like to again repeat such an operation because they think that it's more important to bomb Russian ships, and this is why they are. I think that they are people of war. They want to create new problems for Russians, but they don't understand that it also causes big problems for our colleagues, our allies.
Let me just pause there and explain a little bit what's going on here, just to make this sensible to people who aren't familiar with this whole prank. So a few weeks ago, a Ukrainian sea drone was discovered on an island called Lefkada, which is on the just off of the western coast of Greece. But still in the Eastern Mediterranean, is between Greece and Italy. And huge questions erupted. It was an explosive sea drone about what it was doing on this Greek island of Lefkada. And in this prank call, this character who is pretending to be a Ukrainian government official, but is actually a Russian prankster, has just told the National Security Advisor that the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense views itself as being blameless in all of this and is working at cross purposes with the president of the country, Zelensky, and with the intelligence services of Ukraine. And it wants to take, a quite aggressive approach to using sea drones, which apparently are being launched from Greece's territorial waters or plan to be launched at Russian ships that are transiting through the Eastern Mediterranean. So that's the way the background. So I'm just going to show you a little more from this, and then we'll ask John to enlighten us about what actually happened in this call.
Greece, this is how they work. As you know, they are working against our office because it's a military people, and they think that their willness is more important than the will of president.
And please keep in mind that we'll have elections in a few months. So an accident of that type would cause very significant problems to the Greek government. And our reaction, should an accident happen, would be very strong. But again, let me caution here those planning such an act. These are very crowded waters.
Yes.
And any problem any incident that would also affect maritime security and our tourism would cause significant problems in our bilateral relations.
But you also should understand that we have war with Russians. It's military targets.
Maybe you can find a Russian billionaire, although I would be surprised.
Yeah,
They don't have
some billion.
Maybe you can find a Russian billionaire. Wow. So, John, first of all, could you tell us a little bit about these pranksters? And secondly, give us, please, your take on what was actually revealed by this extraordinary conversation.
Just to put it in context, this for our audience to understand, we're not simply talking about Greece here. We are talking about disclosures that Thanos Dokos made, not only about Greece, but a way in which Ukrainian drone war is now being integrated in the operations, plans, and offensives against Russian targets throughout the entire NATO system. What Dokos is revealing is a commitment from the Greek side, but that's being duplicated in Italy. It's being duplicated throughout the Mediterranean. So for an audience that may be unfamiliar with Greek politics or Greece as an actor, a small actor in NATO, this has NATO-wide, worldwide implications. So let me quickly come to a couple of things. Vovan and Lexus are the two pranksters. Those are their stage names. I won't trouble you with their real names. They are real people, and they have used the so-called telephone prank with the assistance of Russian intelligence to show that they can break into almost any security protocol of almost any significant NATO command. This particular operation involved Dokos. When you look at him looking at the screen, he thinks he's looking at a man he spoke with the week before. Rustem Umerov is the National Security Advisor, parallel office holder in Kiev. Dokos and Umerov met each other face to face. I'm not sure whether it was video face to face or physical face to face a week earlier. This was so well done that Dokos thought he was looking at Umerov, number one. Number two, the admissions that Dokos has subsequently made indicate that the Russians were able to penetrate the security protocols protecting a national security advisor discussing with Kiev highly sensitive operations of war. Remember what you heard Dokos say. We understand the necessity, the needs of war. From a Greek point of view, and listen to this, folks, for 300 years, Greece has been allied with Russia to defend itself. And this is a fundamental break. Greece has declared war on Russia as part of the NATO alliance. That's what Dokos meant at the beginning. What you've just pointed out, Dimitri, is that Dokos said, we would accept assassinations of Russian businessmen on Greek territory. He wasn't exactly talking about Rybolovlev, a fertilizer oligarch who bought a Greek island from the Onassis family. Though he might have been meaning him, what Dokos went on to say was that it's too bad most Russian oligarchs now seek haven in or take their holidays and their boats to Turkey or the Emirates. They don't trust Greece anymore. Well, you just saw a very good reason why they don't trust Greece anymore. As another point that all of us listening, Canadian audience, European audience, American audience, The Greek public opinion is more sympathetic to Russia than any public opinion in Europe or the United States. With the Communist Party, the KKE, actively involved, but not only the Communist Party, Greek voters think more favorably of Russia than anyone else in Europe. And second, they are more opposed to Greek government policy to make war or participate in war on Russia. There have been more port demonstrations attempting to block cargo loading for the Ukraine in Greece. You, Dimitri, have been to Crete and participated in the efforts of Greeks on the island of Crete to oppose the NATO base, which has become an Israeli NATO operation. So you have more massive public support for Russia and opposition to this war than any other European country. And yet there you heard Dokos say, well, we want to stay with you. We want to make war on Russia. We're going to help you with your drone operations. Just make sure you don't do it in such a way as it might embarrass us with our shipping oligarchs. So don't threaten our shipping safety, and don't do it at election time in such a way as this errant drone showed that might affect Greek voters at Greek election time. In other words, the Greek government is confident it can pull the wool over Greek voters or repress Greek voters in the same way the German government thinks, the British government, including the incoming prime minister, and the French and the Italians and so forth. This is a very big problem, and Dokos just exposed it. He also exposed how well Russian intelligence, using Vovan and Lexus, can understand what is being said between Umarov and his NATO allies. Is that a Russian penetration on the Ukrainian side, or is it a Russian penetration on the Greek side, or it's both? But the intelligence achievement that's demonstrated in this is extraordinary. And that means Russians are able to tell President Putin exactly how badly the NATO allies think of Russia, how committed they are to war, and how weak the entire theory of Russian persuasion of European voters is going. That's that part. The important secrets that were disclosed have to be understood in a context. And I'm very grateful to Manos Zafarias, one of my Athens colleagues, for helping me research, each of us collaborating in a very extensive research that Manos has been doing on exactly what happened. There are lots of details that are unclear in the Greek press, and Kathimirini's reporting is simply kicking up sand and allowing Dokos to save his job. That's one of the things he's been trying to do since the drone washed up on Lefkada on May 7. It did not carry an explosive charge. This has been misreported. It's unclear publicly now where the drone was controlled from. But one thing is now very clear: the drone was not dropped from a Ukrainian vessel at sea. This drone, which is about to be co-produced in Greece at Greek shipyards with a South African armaments company, this and other drones are going to be co-produced in Greece, have to be controlled on land. Therefore, this vessel that went out of control and was found by fishermen was being controlled from land. It wasn't Ukrainian land. It's most likely to have been a NATO base on Greek territory. Now, did Dokos know and is covering it up? Or is this a military secret kept secret from the National Security Advisor, the Prime Minister of Greece? Does, in fact, Greece have the kind of split between military planning in secret and civilian political decision-making, which the pseudo-Umarov explains to Dokos is going on in Kiev? That's what Dokos said was scary. He needs to be scared if he doesn't know how well integrated Ukrainian drone operations already are on Greek territory, maybe through NATO, but certainly within the capabilities of the Greek Defense Ministry and the Greek Armed Forces to know and to report to the Prime Minister if they're pressed by the Prime Minister. So must have been far more rumblings and conflict within the Mitsotakis administration in Greece than has been revealed. So any more secrets? What else could be more secret than splits within the Greek government, intelligence services and military? The disclosure that the Ukrainian drones are being controlled on Greek territory against Russian shipping at sea, that Dokos is at war with Greece, Mitsotakis is, at war with Russia in a way that reverses 300 years of Greek policy, and so on and so on. I can't think of any more sensitive set of secrets than that. And the two pranksters have revealed all of that. By the way, on the click basis, this particular so-called prank and video has scored the largest audience in Vovan and Lexus's history, much greater than any other of their breakthroughs with the president with the ex-president of France, Hollande, with the defense minister of the UK, with, if I'm not mistaken, Maloney was fooled as well. None of these breakthrough conversations has scored as big an audience. It's a Greek audience, it's a Russian audience, it's a NATO audience, because of the magnitude of the secrets US and English educated Dokos revealed, and is now trying to save himself by pretending that he didn't.
Yeah, you'd think, John, that the one person who wouldn't be susceptible to a prank of this nature would be the National Security Advisor, but it is for that reason that we're entitling this report the National Insecurity Advisor. But one other thing I want to elaborate before we close out this first part of our two-part interview is you talked about Greek public opinion towards Russia. I also want to just remind our audience that there is a vast divide between the Greek people and the Greek government on a variety of foreign policy issues. One of them is certainly Russia. Another one here, I'll show you. There's a few governments in the world today that are as pro-Israel as the Greek government. Here's polling showing that a majority of Greeks express opposition to Israel, and most Greeks blame either Israel for this conflict, or they say it's all parties to the conflict, or it's the U.S. and the West. Very, very few, what they call a conflict, very, very few Greeks attribute the fault for this genocidal rampage to the Palestinian people. And I should also point out that recent polling, I just don't have it handy, showed that Greece is one of the few countries in Europe, there were only 2 or 3, where more people are sympathetic to Iran than to the United States and Israel on the ongoing war in Iran. So, this is just to drive home the point that we don't have anything remotely approximating a representative government, a democratic government in this country. We are ruled from Washington and Brussels. And I, for one, as a Greek, find this situation shameful, saddening, and I hope that one day the Greek people will rise up collectively and put an end to this completely depraved foreign policy that the Greek government is pursuing on so many fronts. In any case, John, we'll call it a day there on part 1. And in the next part, which we'll publish tomorrow, John and I will get into an in-depth discussion into the Ukrainian attacks, drone attacks on Russia, and the response of the Russian government to this increasingly significant problem. Thanks very much for joining us, John.
Thank you, Dimitri.